Imagine waking up in the middle of the Atlantic, on an island built by volcanoes, where the ground beneath your feet is still warm, the sea decides when you can leave, and the nearest mainland feels like another world. This is the Azores, 9 Portuguese islands scattered far from Europe. Green hills, black cliffs, small villages, steam rising from the earth, churches ringing through the morning fog, fishing boats leaving before sunrise, while families wait for the ocean to return them safely. At first, it looks like paradise. But living here is not as simple as the pictures suggest. A storm can stop flights. A medical trip can mean crossing the sea. Food, fuel, and supplies must travel across open water. Young people often leave to find work. Houses are becoming harder for locals to afford. And beneath the calm fields and quiet lakes, the earth has never fully gone to sleep. So why do people stay? Why do families build their lives on remote volcanic islands where beauty and hardship stand side by side? To understand the Azores, we must look beyond the postcards and enter the daily life of the people who call this place home. The morning rhythm, a life that starts slowly. Morning in the Azores does not rush. Before the roads fill with movement, the islands wake quietly. Church bells move through the fog. The smell of warm bread slips out of small bakeries. In village cafes, older men sit with strong coffee, speaking in low voices as if the day is still half asleep. Outside, wet grass shines under the first light. Cows move slowly across green pastures. A farmer opens a wooden gate. Somewhere in the distance, cowbells ring softly through the hills. Near the coast, the air tastes of salt. A fisherman checks his boat before the sea decides the rest of his day. In front of white houses framed with dark volcanic stone, neighbors greet each other from doorways. Not because they have time to waste, but because here, people still notice one another. This is daily life in the Azores, slow, close, and deeply tied to land and sea. But even in this peaceful morning, one question remains. What does ordinary life really mean when almost everything you need must cross an ocean to reach you? Remote by geography, connected by necessity. The Azores may belong to Portugal, but out here, distance changes everything. There are no bridges between these islands, no roads leading back to the mainland. To move from one island to another, people wait for ferries, small planes, clear skies, and a calm sea. At the harbor, life gathers in quiet patience. A mother waits with bags of groceries. A student holds a suitcase. A family watches the ferry come in, hoping the weather will not delay it again. The ocean is the road here. It carries food, fuel, medicine, visitors, and loved ones. But it also has the final word. A storm can cancel a doctor's appointment. Strong winds can delay a flight. A family visit can depend on the mood of the Atlantic. In the Azores, distance makes every meeting matter. When someone arrives, they have crossed more than water. They have crossed time, weather, and effort. Living on fire, volcanoes beneath daily life. The Azores were not shaped gently. They rose from fire, pushed up from the floor of the Atlantic by volcanoes that built these islands layer by layer. Even today, the signs are everywhere. In Furnas, steam rises from cracks in the ground. Hot springs bubble beside walking paths. Pots of cozido are buried in the earth and left for hours, cooked by heat coming from deep below. Here, people do not only live near volcanoes, they eat from them. They bathe in them. They build with their dark stones and farm the rich soil they left behind. But the beauty carries a warning. Sete Cidades rests inside an ancient crater. Lagoa do Fogo sits in a wild volcanic bowl. Pico Mountain still stands above the ocean like a sleeping giant. And on Fayal, the half-buried Capelinos lighthouse reminds everyone that the land can change without asking. In the Azores, fire is not only part of the past. It is under the villages, beneath the fields, and inside the daily life of the people who call these islands home. Food from the land, the sea, and the earth's heat. In the Azores, food carries the taste of land, sea, and fire. In Furnas, hands prepare cabbage, potatoes, meat, and sausage before the pot is sealed and lowered into the hot earth. Hours later, it comes back covered in steam, cooked by the same volcanic heat that shaped the island. By the harbor, fresh tuna, octopus, and limpets arrive from the Atlantic. Garlic butter melts over hot shells. Salt hangs in the air. Smoke rises near the fishing boats. On São Jorge, aged cheese is sliced and served with local honey. On São Miguel, tea leaves are picked from green hillsides, while pineapples grow slowly inside glass houses. On Pico, vines survive in black lava fields, protected by stone walls built by hand. Every meal tells the same story. The people of the Azores learned to use what the islands gave them: the soil, the ocean, the heat below. Food here is memory, patience, and survival served at the table. The workday. Farmers, fishermen, guides, and small island economies. Work in the Azores begins close to the ground and close to the water. On green hillsides, cows graze while milk trucks stop at small family farms. In quiet ports, fishermen unload tuna, octopus, and other catches before the morning is fully bright. In village cafes, shutters open. In guest houses, beds are made before new visitors arrive. This is how many people live here: farming, fishing, guiding, hosting, selling what the land and sea can give. But the work is changing. Whale-watching boats now leave from harbors where fishing boats once ruled the day. Local guides lead visitors to crater lakes, hot springs, and old volcanic trails. Tourism has brought new income, and recent reports show overnight stays in the Azores continued growing in 2026. Still, the question remains: can tourism help the next generation stay, or will it slowly change the islands they are trying to protect? From whaling to whale watching, the great reversal. The ocean around the Azores once carried a different sound. Men watched the water from high cliffs, searching for whales. When they saw one, small boats left the harbor and families waited on shore, knowing the sea could give food or take a life. For generations, whaling was part of survival here. It was hard, dangerous work, tied to hunger, poverty, and the need to provide. Today, those same cliffs tell a new story. The old lookout points now guide whale-watching boats. The same waters that once drew hunters now bring scientists, visitors, and marine guides with binoculars. Sperm whales rise from the deep. Dolphins race beside the boats. The ocean is no longer seen only as something to take from, but something to protect. And in 2026, the Azores made that promise stronger by approving a marine protection network covering 30% of its sea. This change is bigger than tourism. It is the story of a people learning to face nature with respect, after once depending on it for survival. Faith, festivals, and the power of community. In the Azores, community is not a small part of life. It is what holds life together. Across the islands, church bells still call families through narrow streets and quiet villages. On Terceira, bright imperios stand like small houses of memory, painted in red, blue, yellow, and white. During the Holy Spirit festivals, silver crowns are carried through the streets. Music fills the air. Children walk beside elders. Large pots of soup are prepared and shared with everyone, locals and visitors alike. Here, faith is not only found inside churches. It is found in open doors, shared meals, borrowed tools, and neighbors who arrive before they are asked. When storms delay boats, when families need help, when someone returns home after years away, the community gathers. In a place surrounded by ocean, people survive by staying close. And for many Azoreans, this bond is one reason leaving is never easy. The quiet crisis. Young people leaving. But behind the festivals, the bells, and the family tables, the Azores is facing a quieter problem. Its young people are leaving. In one small bedroom, a suitcase lies open. A mother folds clothes in silence. A young man looks at old family photos on the wall, knowing that tomorrow he may be in Lisbon, Canada, or the United States, chasing the kind of future his island cannot easily give him. The Azores has peace, it has beauty, it has safety, family, and belonging. But peace does not always pay rent. Beauty does not always create jobs. And belonging does not always answer the question every young person must face. Should I stay where my heart is, or leave where my future may be? Across the islands, this question is changing villages. Some classrooms have fewer children. Some homes are filled with grandparents waiting for calls from far away. And when a ferry leaves at sunset, it may be carrying more than passengers. It may be carrying the next generation away from home. Tourism, blessing or threat? Then come the visitors. At Sete Cidades, cameras rise before the mist has cleared. Rental cars fill narrow roads. Cafes grow busy. Old stone houses become guest rooms. Trails that were once quiet now carry voices from many countries. Tourism has brought work to the Azores. It has helped guides, cafes, guest houses, boat operators, and small family businesses. For some young people, it offers a reason to stay. But every gift carries a cost. When more people arrive, prices rise, roads feel smaller, nature needs stronger protection. And some local families begin to wonder if the islands are slowly becoming easier to visit than to live in. The question is no longer whether the world will discover the Azores. That has already begun. The harder question is this: can the Azores welcome the world without losing the life that made people come here in the first place? Nature under pressure. Climate, invasive species, and fragile water. The beauty of the Azores depends on a balance that can easily break. Mist feeds the forests. Forests hold the water. Streams run down the slopes. Lakes fill the craters. And the ocean carries life around every island. But that balance is under pressure. Warmer temperatures, changing rainfall, invasive plants, and more human activity are beginning to test the systems that keep these islands alive. When native forests weaken, water becomes harder to protect. When heavy rain hits steep volcanic slopes, the land becomes easier to damage. When too many feet press into fragile places, beauty begins to carry scars. Here, nature is not just scenery. It is drinking water. It is food. It is tourism. It is identity. It is the reason people stay and the reason others come. The Azores are now protecting more of their sea and restoring parts of their land. But the question is still urgent. Can these islands protect the nature that protects them? The island choice: leave, return, or stay. Some Azoreans leave because they have to. They leave for school, for work, for a wider future beyond the ocean. But many carry the islands with them. The sound of church bells, the smell of bread in the morning, the sight of green hills falling into the Atlantic. And some come back. A ferry reaches the harbor. A family waits near the gate. An old man looks out to sea as if he has seen this return many times before. At a dinner table, voices rise again. Children run through a narrow street. A farmer repairs a basalt wall, and a neighbor stops to help without being asked. For many people, home is where life is easier. But in the Azores, home is often where life has meaning. This is why some stay. This is why some return. Because here, belonging is not an idea. It is family, land, memory, faith, peace, and the quiet feeling that no matter how far you travel, the islands still know your name. This archipelago was born from fire, surrounded by ocean, and tested by time. Yet people stayed. They built homes from volcanic stone. They turned isolation into community. They turned danger into tradition. They turned distance into identity. The Azores are not a simple paradise. They are a living place, with real struggles, real risks, and real limits. But within that hardship lives a profound truth. Resilience is more beautiful than ease, and belonging is more powerful than convenience. This is not a postcard. This is home. Could you live here? Not just visit for a week, not just take pictures of the lakes and hot springs, but truly live here, where the sea decides your schedule, the earth shapes your meals, and community is not a luxury, but a way of survival. The Azores are not just remote islands. They are proof that daily life can still be slower, deeper, and closer to nature. Even in a world moving too fast, here, time does not race, it breathes. If this journey made you see island life differently, then join us. Subscribe now, like this video, and tell us in the comments, would you choose opportunity in a busy city or belonging on a remote island in the Atlantic?